Hello, and welcome to Environment and Climate Change Canada's information session on the base metal production reporting requirements. These requirements are applicable to those facilities subject to the Greenhouse Gas Reporting Program's expanded reporting requirements for 2019, which includes base metal production facilities. We'll begin the session by introducing the expansion of the GHGRP and the base metal production requirements. We'll then explore the specific base metal production reporting and quantification requirements, and then we'll wrap up by describing the resources available to help reporters. Here's a quick summary of the GHGRP and its recent expansion. The Greenhouse Gas Reporting Program administers the annual mandatory reporting of greenhouse gas emissions by facilities under the authority of Section 46 of the Canadian Environmental Protection Act. In 2017, Phase 1 of the GHGRP expansion was implemented. This phase included the following changes. First, the reporting threshold was lowered from 50 kilotons to 10 kilotons in carbon dioxide equivalent units. And second, the lime, cement, aluminum, iron and steel, and carbon capture, transport, and storage sectors were required to quantify their emissions using prescribed methods and report additional data that is associated with those calculations. In 2018, we implemented Phase 2 of the expansion. Similarly, there are additional requirements by sector. Specifically, this includes ammonia, base metal, electricity and heat, ethanol, hydrogen, mining, nitric acid, petroleum refining, and pulp and paper sectors. For 2019, while some small adjustments have been made, this year continues the same requirements from the first two phases of the expansion. Base metal production reporting requirements may be found in Schedule 18 of the 2019 GHGRP notice, and prescribed quantification methods are found in Section 13 of Canada's Greenhouse Gas Quantification Requirements document. This sector includes the primary or secondary production processes that are used to recover lead, zinc, copper, nickel, and/or cobalt. Primary production includes the smelting or refining of base metals from feedstock that comes primarily from ore. Secondary production processes include the recovery of base metals from various feedstock materials such as recycled metals. Note that while not discussed in this video tutorial, fuel combustion and flaring reporting requirements are applicable to base metal production facilities as well. These requirements are discussed in a separate video tutorial. Base metal production facilities must report the annual carbon dioxide emissions by base metal type, stemming from specific processes used in the production of base metals, such as the use of carbonates as flux reagents, the use of carbon feedstock as a reducing agent, and carbon electrode consumption. Quantities and carbon contents of process inputs and outputs must also be reported, as well as the quantities of each base metal type produced. With respect to quantifying emissions, a general mass balance methodology is provided. This methodology takes into account the carbon content of input and output materials, whether they are carbonates, carbon electrodes, feedstock, or the ore itself. Input materials that contribute less than 0.5% of the total carbon into the process may be excluded. Continuous emissions monitoring systems may be used as well. However, keep in mind that process emissions must be separated from fuel combustion emissions. Facilities that are subject to the federal output-based pricing system regulations may be aware that there are required methods to follow for quantifying emissions to be reported in the OBPS annual report. These methods are also allowable for your GHGRP report. Please note that the OBPS regulations refer to the GHGRP's 2017 methods for quantifying fuel combustion emissions. In the GHGRP reporting module, there's a section where you must indicate if you're using these methods for your GHGRP report. If you select yes for this option, the methodologies that you can select on the subsequent screens no longer refer to the 2019 GHGRP methods. They refer either to the 2017 GHGRP methods or other applicable OBPS methodologies. Note that it is not mandatory to use the OBPS required quantification methodologies for reporting to the GHGRP. It is an option for those facilities subject to the OBPS regulations. Further, in the OBPS reporting system, there is a function provided that will generate an OBPS to GHGRP printout based on the emissions you are reporting in the annual OBPS report. This is not intended for facilities that are subject to expanded GHGRP requirements. In the GHGRP report, after reporting the detailed information for each applicable activity, there is a function that automatically populates the total emissions categories based on the previous emissions information provided. Therefore, there is no need to use the printout. To wrap up, this slide lists the resources available to help facilities in completing their GHGRP report. Our website listed here is the place to go, where you can find a link to the 2019 GHGRP notice, which describes the latest reporting requirements. Also included on our website is a link to the GHG quantification requirements document, which is mandatory for those subject to the expansion. You will also find the technical guidance document on reporting greenhouse gas emissions. This helps to explain the notice and specific technical requirements. You will also find a link to access the single window system and the following guidance on using this online system to submit your report. There's swim guidance, including video tutorials on accessing single window for the first time, connecting your profile to an organization, and managing organization information. And we also provide enhanced step-by-step instructions on submitting a GHG report. There's also a page dedicated to more commonly asked questions and answers. And of course, you can contact the GHG Help Desk with any questions you may have. And new this year are a series of video tutorials available on YouTube to help explain the requirements, common reporting issues, and how to prepare your GHGRP report. Finally, here's how you can reach the GHGRP. Please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions, and also have a look at all the resources available to you. We encourage you to check out the additional recordings available, including information sessions on the general reporting requirements applicable to all facilities, and an overall look at the expanded reporting requirements, which discusses some common reporting issues. Please also review any of the relevant single window demonstration videos. Thank you.